and pandemic was so stressful as well, but we had a time to work for this stress, so that was how we doing that. We were singing and dancing, and it was the best medicine for stress.
Welcome to Voices of the Ancestors, where we explore Georgian polyphonic songs
and the women who sing them. The voices today are me, Susan Thompson, in Tbilisi.
And me, Holly Taylor-Zuntz, and I'm now safely back home in Oxford, UK. But today we're bringing you an interview we recorded while we were both up in the mountains of Ajara, the village of Merisi to be more exact. We managed to grab half an hour with Khatia Turmanidze to tell us what it's like growing up in a folk family.
Oh, but first, Holly, can you tell me, how are things back in the UK?
Oh, great, thanks. It's really nice to be back, and lots of new projects happening now that things are opening up. And there's 2 exciting events that I wanted to share with our listeners, actually. So the first is that I'm going to be hosting a Q&A session with Nino Naneishvili after Ioloni's concert, which is going to be streamed by Oxford Contemporary Music. So that's going to be coming from Tbilisi to a cinema here in Oxford, and we're actually going to be in the cinema watching it. So exciting. And it's also going to be available online. So if you're listening in real time, that's happening tonight on the 3rd of June. But I'm told it will be available to watch for a week afterwards. So do check out the link in the show notes to the Oxford Contemporary Music website. It's going to be a great opportunity to support our Georgian friends in their folk experiments.
Oh my goodness, that's such great news. And for anybody that hasn't caught up with some of the back issues of the podcast, take a listen to episode 3, where Nino Naneishvili is our guest. And also episode 9, where I was on a trip with Ioloni into the mountains of Ajara.
Yes, and if you're more interested in singing than listening to Georgian songs, there's an opportunity to learn a Georgian song from me on Sunday the 6th of June. I've been invited to join World of Voices to teach an online Georgian singing workshop with them. And I'm so excited because it's going to be people from all around the world. So I'll be in Oxford teaching a Georgian song. There's someone going to be coming from Sweden and Senegal. So yeah, everyone's welcome wherever you are in the world. Do come along, and again, check the link in the show notes to that.
Oh, that sounds brilliant. You did such a great job teaching when I visited you when you were in Gomarduli, and that was immediately before we went to the Turmanidze. So I'm sure it'll be really exciting.
Yes, I really wanted to teach the song Merisi, which is kind of their village song from Merisi, so that when they came to visit us in Gomarduli, we could sing together. So just for a bit of background, Gomarduli is also a village in Ajara, although there's still a 2-hour journey between Merisi and Gomarduli due to the mountains. And I was there as a singing teacher. I was living there for about a month, and Susan came and stayed. And yeah, we invited the Turmanidzes for a supra, which was just so... I think the time of that supra, the start time, changed about 4 or 5 times, didn't it?
Oh, I know it did. I mean, we must have said that joke word that we have, geg maybe, so many times that day to like, geg maybe it'll happen, geg maybe it'll happen at 5, geg maybe it'll be at 7, who knows?
Yeah, so for anyone who doesn't know our in-joke, the Georgian word for plans is geg maybe. So we just like to play on the fact that nothing in Georgia is predictable by using geg maybes. We have a lot of geg maybes, don't we?
Well, we do. I mean, that particular day that we were waiting on Malek, I think, who was coming up from Batumi with all the shopping to cook for the supra. So we had to wait until the mashrutka arrived. And I think she'd been sent to go and buy the right sort of meat, because some of our guests were Muslims, because the village of Gomarduli is a Muslim village. And to be honest with you, I think in the end, the Turmanidzes came. We had the beginning of the supra, and then they left before Malek had arrived.
Yeah, because we had the curfew. They had to get back before the curfew, didn't they?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I mean, it was fine in the end, because we kind of just continued the supra by going to visit them in their village, of Merisi, a few days later. So it all worked out fine.
Oh, it did. And it was so nice, because we had our taxi driver was from Gomarduli. And so we set off, and he'd never been to Merisi before. So he was having to do the Georgian thing of making lots of phone calls on the way to make sure we were going the right route. And then there was that moment when I couldn't quite work out what was happening, because I was sitting in the back. But you got the best view, didn't you, of why he slowed down so suddenly?
Oh, yeah, of course. That was when these two black figures crossed our path, and it turned out they were wolves.
Yeah. And there was that long conversation where we went through all the animals that were in that Dat Malkini song. We had the Datvi bear and the Mengeli wolf and the Mela fox and the Tura jackal. And he was so certain, no, it's not a jackal. It was a wolf. It was a Mengeli. So, yeah, that was so special.
Yeah. And I think the journey just got more exciting from there, really, because the road to Merisi is, the closer you get, the bumpier it gets, and windier. You know, you're winding around these mountains. And the driver was getting quite agitated, wasn't he?
He was.
Saying, why would anyone live here?
Yeah, and we came round one bend, and he could see that there was a big mechanical, what would it be, a bulldozer, I think, parked up, and it looked like there was just a constant landslip that went over the road at that point. And you could just see him kind of preparing himself, and he just put his foot down when he got to that bit and just went, I'm getting over here as fast as I possibly can. It was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I was loving the journey, because the trees were getting steadily greener, and, you know, we were driving basically through clouds. The air was wet with moisture, and it was also quite cold at that point as well.
And all the waterfalls were just really full, so they were at their best, because you're starting to get the snow melt at that time of year. It was amazing.
Absolutely.
And
but
also
when
our arrival. We were at the same point, aren't we?
And then when we arrived, it was into just pure warmth.
Oh.
The main room of the house is like the room where everyone is, because that's where the fireplace is.
That's right. And the first thing was, come and sit with me by the fire, get as close as you can. And it reminded me of visiting one of my aunts who, there was a coal fire in the front room, and you all went in the front room, and that's where you stayed. I think I was wearing every single layer of clothing I had until we got into that room. Yeah,
but also just the embrace of the family. We first were greeted by Jamal and Manina. Those are Khatia's parents. And then as we got into the room around the fire, we were sitting with Melek and Amaran, her grandparents, and we were shelling walnuts and helping with the preparation of the supra. And everything was just warm.
It was. And I couldn't believe I was finally there. I've been nearly going to Merisi for probably, 4 years, 5 years. I think I realised when I was there that I'd met Jamal previously, because he'd been in a concert in Batumi where he'd been singing with Mokvare. And I read up recently that Mokvare was started, it's a village ensemble from that village, Merisi, and it started by, it must be his great-grandfather, I think, or grandfather, Revaz Turmanidze, and that was in 1950. And the goal of the ensemble was to keep those songs from that village and that area alive, but not just, to sing them on a stage and do it like that, but to transmit that folk knowledge to future generations. And I so felt like that was happening.
That's exactly, we saw the fruits of their labour, really, speaking to 17-year-old Khatia, who's now singing her family's songs. Hello, Khatia. welcome to the podcast.
Hello, Holly.
It's very nice to be here in your bedroom in Merisi.
Yeah, I love my bedroom as well.
So maybe you could start by saying where we are and who's here and what the environment is like.
So we are in Merisi in my bedroom because he's more warm than anywhere else. This room is so old and nice. I loved being here, and outside is rain. And
who's downstairs? I can hear some voices.
there is my grandparents. They are looking Turkish serials.
They're watching TV programs, the Turkish TV programs.
Yes, and Cemal and Mananam, my father and my mother.
Wow. And we're in Merisi, this part of Georgia is very close to Turkey.
Yes, exactly.
In fact, I'm sure I've talked to guests of yours who said, oh yes, we went for a walk and we met to the border guard.
Yeah, it's happening lots of time actually because our mountain is really near to Turkish border. So there are always people who is keeping the border safe. So they are always checking our guests.
Wow.
And next they are listening how the people from other country are singing Georgian folk songs, and they are just getting like, wow. They really love it.
The border guards are charmed by the songs.
Yes, exactly, always. And they are always the different people on the border. So every time the emotion are same, like they are listening the first time when people from other country are singing Georgian songs, so they are like, wow.
And you have a lot of experience meeting people from other countries who sing Georgian songs.
Yes, but I think I look like these border guys because every time when I'm listening how other people from other country are singing my village song, I'm getting really surprised and full of emotions. I even love to talk about this actually. It's so nice when the people far away love your songs this much and they are learning and they are singing. This time I realize how beautiful this song is again and how beautiful is my village.
Wow. And last night you were showing us a video from when you were quite small. Do you remember when the first foreigners came here to sing?
Everything, and I remember everyone.
Yes.
Maybe I forget who visited us the last year, but I remember everyone from this group actually because. Like sometimes I even can't remember the conversations between these people, and this was really like first emotions to meet these nice people, and it was like unforgettable experience for me. I think I will always remember this, and I spend really good time with them as well. So
in the video, just for our listeners who might not have seen it, it's you're 7 years old.
Exactly.
And what happens? They close the road.
So we was in a Kedah, and we was coming back from Kedah when our friend Badri bring the table in middle road. So he closed the road, and our guest was asking what we can do now, and Cemali answered, we can call the police and police can bring them from the road, or we can join them. And we had a great table and great supra there. People was coming with the cars, and we had the road closed, so they was coming from the cars. They was joining our supra and drinking few glass of wine as well. And next they was standing and looking how we was singing and dancing, and that was so nice.
But at that time, I think you were dancing. You were not singing.
No, that time I wasn't singing at all, actually. Never.
Never?
Never, because there was always my brothers who was singing. Yeah, they was good singers, and I was always prepared to let them sing and listen to them. But this time I was fall in love with dancing, but now I change my interest. Now I love to look dance and love to sing.
Wow. And did you hear your grandmother sing?
Not me, but people say she was singing.
When we were introduced last night, she said, "Oh, I don't sing anymore because I don't have a
Yeah,
voice anymore."
she have a throat ache for a long time. Like she can't even eat everything, so that's why she's not singing.
Understand.
But all time she was singing with family as well.
Wow. So, what happened to change for you to start singing?
Okay, that's this thing have a one story. Like, I was always listening songs and I was happy with that, but I was never trying to sing because I was deeply believed that everyone should not sing in a family and one should dance. So I was really trying to start dance and learn dancing. But few years ago, like 3 years ago or 4 years ago, there was one German girl, Jakoba, and she came to us in a spring, and the people usually groups are visiting us in a summer. So she was alone, and she was learning songs from Jamal. And they were singing in a two voice, the folk songs in a two voice, and they didn't have the first voice. So she was asking, let's try, I want to hear these songs in a three voice. And she was so cute, and I was really fall in love with her, so I decided to sing because of her. And I know I open my mouth and I just sing. I know all the songs. Maybe some of the part I was wrong, but the mostly I know all the songs because I was listening them all the time on the supra. So next I start practice on the supra as well. Of course, I learn the songs. So Jakoba make me sing actually. After that, it was Lloyd who was spent all the time with us, and we was always happy to have Lloyd in our family.
So he's not from Germany, is he?
No, he's from Australia.
Okay.
So Lloyd was here not just in summer, so that means there was not a lot of people as well. And he was singing with the neighbors a lot, but it wasn't enough for him because he was always singing all day. He was working and he was singing. He was looking the bee and start singing. Dila samgaro putgaro. He was singing every time when he was look something which is is the word in the sing lyrics.
I love this.
So Lloyd was asking me, let's try, and we have our favorite song now, which we are singing all the time when we are together. Maybe few times, sometimes in the tables. So after that, I start singing because I was so fall in love with songs and singing.
And what is the favourite song?
Me and Lloyd's and my favorite song is Supruli. We are singing that all the time.
How does it start? Because I've heard several.
Delia bo abadela delia bo.
So here's a recording from 2018.
It catches the moment when Khatia starts to sing with Lloyd. You can hear that the room is full, with her father Jamal and guests from Australia and Canada. You can even hear them enjoying the sweets that Manana lovingly lays out for her guests. And I can imagine that Khatia's grandparents are there, Malik and Amiran, enjoying Khatia's growing confidence in this moment.
That's a Supruli.
I'm so glad I asked you, because I now know that there's another Supruli I need to learn.
Yes, you had to.
I think
That's
so.
so nice.
I have a question about your voice. Did it come very naturally for you? Because I've heard you singing with a really strong voice, and I want to know, does that just come out of you, or do you do some work?
No, I've never worked on my voice, and actually sometimes when I'm hearing my voice in videos or in some recordings, I know I have to work it, because I can understand I'm not doing the right breathe sometime and so on, or in the recording I'm seeing every mistakes, but I'm never working for that in the table or something like that. I'm practice on the supra actually all the time.
I like this practice room.
Yeah, I do this a lot.
And it's easy for you to sing with the men in your family? Like, you always take first voice, or...?
Yeah, it's really comfortable for me. I'm the singing the first voice is my favorite. But I'm trying to sing bass as well. When sometimes my brother Beso is singing first voice, so I'm trying to sing bass with Jamal. Sometimes it's too deep for my voice, but I'm trying my maximum to sing bass with a man. And it's not easy for me, because men are not singing in a high, so bass is more more deep.
And I wondered, you go to a boarding school, although I know you are very lucky today to be here with us, or we're very lucky that you're here with us. And I wondered if you sing when you're at school. We
have a school ensemble as well.
Ah.
Yes. And we are singing Merisi folk songs.
Okay.
We have a nice teacher who is helping us to sing the right. But actually I know all the songs which we are learning, so because this teacher learned from our family as well, so I know all the songs.
And how does the ensemble at school work? How many people are there in it?
We are 20 students in this ensemble, and we are meeting in 2 days in a week. But because of pandemic, we wasn't meeting a lot, and I was really missed to sing. And we start last week to meet again each other, and I was like, I didn't want to stop when I started singing. I want this lesson to continue during whole day.
Wow.
So is that just girls in your boarding
No,
school?
girls and boys together. Like in boarding school, there's first floor for boys and second floor for girls, and we have a one room where anyone can go and watch TV or play tennis or sing or do whatever they want. So I'm enjoying a lot to be with my friends. I'm living there for during the 6th year with the same girl, so they are part of my family as well. Because I'm spending a lot of time with them, more than my family sometimes.
So I'm wondering, do you ever have the experience to sing only with women?
Yes. My friends in ensembles, 3 of us are singing sometimes together, just girls. We like it. And also my neighbors, they start singing in during the pandemic actually. So in this new year we was visiting all the family in this village, and we was singing with the panduri, and everyone was invited us. And we visit every family actually. We start from our family. We was singing here, and when neighbors explore we can sing, they start to invite us, and we spend a great New Year's week actually.
Wow.
Yes.
And will you tell everyone what the pandemic at the beginning was like here? Because it's been different in different parts of the world. And
Yeah, when pandemic start and there was lockdown in Georgia, everyone from city come back in a village. Even the people, even who are not living in here, but they visit us. Like Gemali's sisters came and start living with us, and all the village was full of young people and full of people actually. So during the 2 week, everyone was in their own houses, and they was doing like they was worrying about their health. So during the 2 week, we all stay in home. But after the 2 week that we all believed that nothing was wrong with us and we was absolutely healthy, we had no coronavirus symptoms, we start to visit each other, and we close this village with our hands, like we was no one let to go and no one let to come in village. So we was spending the great time. We was singing all the time, and there was part of days, like in the morning we all was together. In the middle day, the women was together drinking coffee, and men was working. And the afternoon, the women was together singing and dancing, and men was playing tennis and playing some table games and so on. That's how we spend the whole quarantine.
I want to be in that quarantine.
Yes. Wow. Isn't it funny how the pandemic in some aspects is so heavy and but in others has enabled new things to happen?
Yeah, for me the pandemic was really inspiring. So I started playing on guitar during the quarantine.
The guitar?
Yeah. I'm not the best, but I'm trying. I start walking in the village. Before that, I was spending all day in a house or in the yard. But after the pandemic, I was wake up in 7 o'clock and I was running, and I was coming after 2 hours, and after that it became part of my lifestyle, because now I really love to walk again. Yes. That's how it works. And Actually, pandemic we was always a big family. This village was always a family, not just neighbors. But pandemic make us more near with each other. We start care with each other more and more, and we start to make friendship with not just our age. Like Cemal's friends became my good friends as well. Amirani's friends became my good friends. There is no age separating now. Like we all became one family.
Yeah. So you were asking whether Khatia had experience singing with just women or girls, and now I'm thinking, do you sing with groups that are lots of different ages?
Yeah, that's how it works actually. When it was pandemic, like it was Amiran's and Melek's generation, Mananas and Cemal's generation, and my generation singing together all the time, and it was so funny sometimes because we was singing lot of different kind of songs. Sometimes we were singing the polyphonic songs, sometimes we were singing some modern songs, and they was like we was like compare each other sometimes, and it was so nice to spend time with them.
Yeah. So were you teaching songs to your grandparents?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
Sorry for that.
No,
but
of
I think
course.
they are singing more good songs than I can teach, so that's the answer.
Hello, it's Susan here with a gratitude spot. Thank you for listening today, and thanks to all our generous supporters for helping cover the costs of making this podcast. We hope our monthly Ko-fi supporters have found the extra recordings at kofi.com/Voices of the Ancestors. There's the full uninterrupted episode with Joan Mills, and the extended episode with Nino Nanaishvili, available on Ko-fi if you sign up and buy us a coffee once a month. If you'd like to help out, go to the podcast website www.voicesoftheancestors.co.uk and click on the Ko-fi cups. If you'd like to help out, but buying a coffee isn't possible for you right now, tell some friends about the show. Your word of mouth recommendation is really valuable. So thanks again, everyone. And now, back to the podcast.
To know your neighbours that started to sing during the pandemic, are they still singing now?
They was always singing actually. Like sometimes I'm saying Merisi is singing village because there is a lot of people who can sing, and they are singing so nice, and that's why Merisi have their own version of songs. But when it wasn't quarantine, everyone was so stressed with their jobs and works, and they had no time, and pandemic was so stressful as well, but we had a time to work for this stress, so that was how we doing that. We were singing and dancing, and it was the best medicine for stress.
But you must have missed having guests.
Exactly. So it was I was spending so good time, but after 1 month I was telling to Cemal and Manana, I can't live like that anymore, because we spend every day a good time, and I was never sit down in a corner bored, but I missed communication with the new people, with the guests, and I'm more open person. I love new people, to meet new friends, make new friendship, and I really missed this thing, and I was really looking forward to someone come in our house, and I was telling Cemal and Manana, I promise I will do everything. I will help you with everything. If there will be same life, I will never say I'm lazy to do something. Yeah.
And where do your the guests that come to Merisi, where do they come from?
Before pandemic, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. from America, from Europe, from Australia, like really different countries, and I always love to listen them, and I always love communication with different people, and hear their opinion about the same things sometimes, how they are thinking in different, they are all from different cultures, so it's really interesting for me to talk with the people, because I think the best way to develop is to listen lots of different people. So that's what I was doing. I was always talking with the people and with the guests, and I was always happy to listen them as well. And I love to listen them, but the most favorite part for me is to share them my culture and how my village is living and what we are doing here. And before I will meet this much people, when I was 7 years old and I was looking outside, I was looking the mountains and I can see that's beautiful, but I was never saying it was beautiful. But when someone came here and was like shocked how beautiful was this view look like, I was looking like, what's special? That's just mountains. But when times go on, I realize how beautiful is that, and I learn how to look everything with the guest eyes. So every day when I'm waking up and going outside, I'm never looking this view as it's just a view. I'm always saying, wow, today it's really beautiful. And it seems like it's always new, this view for me. Yeah.
Well, my experience of it is always new, because the weather changes so much. It changes moment by moment.
Exactly, but when I'm living here during the 16 years.
Yes. Well, I have a question as well, which is just about the future. Because I know we've had a lovely discussion earlier today about how life here, you don't plan because it's not possible. Things change too quickly and too often. But I wonder, for you, a young woman from these mountains, what dreams do you have?
I want to go from Georgia's border as well, and see this people culture who is coming to me and visiting me. I wish one day I can visit them as well and their country. But of course I'm going to live in Georgia, and for this 5 year I have a little plans. Gag maybe. I want to I'm in school now, so when I finish school I want to go in university in Tbilisi for 4 years, and after that I don't know. I will plan next. But for sure I want to go in university.
What does Voices of the Ancestors mean to you?
I think it means a lot. The voice which came, which stand strong during these centuries and this much years mean a lot, because the stories how they was keeping their culture and their voice, and they stay as they was coming from, like they stay strong Ajarian women. And we had a terrible experience before, like in long time ago we was occupied by Turkey, and it's still so clear in Ajara. When you're coming Ajara, Ajarian people never can forget that. I think like you can can hear these stories every day, maybe about this time. So they get lots of women die because they don't change their traditions, and they stay how kind of people they was. They stay Georgians, they stay Ajarians, and they stay Christians again. They even don't change religion, and sometimes the people was dying because of that. So it means a lot for me. Like every time when I'm breaking the cornbread, I'm doing cross, because that's how Ajarian women was doing when Ajara was occupied by Turkey, and they was making cross because keep religion strong and teach their child. But for people from Turkey, they was telling that lie, they will break the corn easy, and that's why they was doing that. But they was doing the cross, and it's Christian thing, and to show their child and try to don't forget that. So I remember that, and I will never forget how they was how loud is their voice, that it's stand really strong for this much centuries and years. It's a lot.
Is there anything else you want to say?
I want to say the people who is listening to me, hello if I know you. Warm hug from Merisi, and if I don't know you, I hope you will visit our village, and I will have this pleasure to talk and know you. And I'm really waiting the time when I can meet my old friends again, and I will have a chance to make new friendship with other people.
Thank you, Khatia.
We love you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
so lovely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's
so
it.
lovely.
You're amazing.
Yeah, you're just great.
I'm
You're
just
so great.
worrying about my English. Sometimes
Your
it's
English was so great, and
Thank
everything
you.
you said was so. I
Yes,
just
just everything.
Wow.
clean,
Yeah,
clear.
really, really great. And thank you so
Okay.
much. Thank you.
Thank you
You're
to
a
give me
superstar.
this chance.
That was just like 30 minutes of gold. So thank you.
Thank you for listening to Voices of the Ancestors with Holly Taylor-Zuntz and Susan Thompson. Our guest was Khatia Turmanidze. Music in the episode was by Ialoni, Sakioba, Eteridachidze and the Turmanidze family. Thanks to Matthew Knight for sharing his recordings of Merisi. We're playing out with a recording of Merisuli by a trio from the Ecclesiastical Chant University of Tbilisi, a great example of a Merisian song being shared with the rest of the country. For more information about this and other episodes, visit voicesoftheancestors.co.uk. And if there's ever a word you don't catch in an episode, take a look at the transcript on the website.